Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Sherrone Moore, this Michigan program, continue to build a massive staff heading into 2024, making another exciting addition as former NFL standout Pernell Mcphee joins this Michigan staff. Dill, whenever you get the opportunity to add an NFL player that's won a Super Bowl, that's accumulated over 38 sacks, 58 tackles for loss to this staff, that is never a bad thing. And I think Sherrone Moore has a really clear outline of what he wants this coaching staff to be. And I think the first thing is it's a winning standard, right? You look at Pernell Mcphee being around guys like Ray Lewis, being around guys like Ed Reed, winning a Super Bowl at the NFL level. He wants winners. He wants coaches that have played at the highest level, that have coached at the highest level. And I think Pernell Mcphee certainly checks that box. Want to get into Pernell Mcphee, talk about the background, talk about what he brings to this Michigan staff. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. It truly has been a blast talking this Michigan program over the last couple of weeks, whether we're talking the coaching hires, the high school recruiting trail. Cannot thank the Michigan fans for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. And Dill, we're going to give you the T-box here. Pernell Mcphee heading to Ann Arbor. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is big for two reasons. The one is kind of what you mentioned, just having grown up in probably one of the premier football cultures that was that Ravens defense throughout most of the 2010s, but also his familiarity with Wink Martindale and being able to play the way Wink Martindale wants his defensive linemen to play, and hopefully be able to coach and teach that the way Wink Martindale wants to coach. So I think you can believe in that. But also, I think it's kind of big, especially what's going on with Coach Scruggs and like some of the uncertainty surrounding his position. I think it's big to have a guy who can come into that room and command respect. I mean, you got some absolute alpha dogs in that room with Mason Graham, Kenny Grant, Josiah Stewart. I mean, just a ton of really, really good players. I do think it's important to have a guy who can be in that room and be a steady hand in some of this turmoil, because I do think it's different, frankly, looking at Pernell Mcphee versus kind of your run-in-the-mill 25-year-old GA who's just getting started.
I think that's a really good point. And I think two things. One, on the practice field, certainly commands that respect, but also on the recruiting trail. When Sherrone Moore took this job, one of the big things that we're most excited for is what is the recruiting going to look like within this Michigan program? Sherrone Moore was an ace on the recruiting trail as an assistant coach and is clearly looking to kind of buff up what Michigan is doing on the recruiting trail. And for those who follow the recruiting trail relatively closely, having guys on your staff that have played at the NFL level, that have played at a high level at the NFL level, that means a lot, right? I think back to Jason Taylor, coaching the Miami defensive line. You talk about why Miami's been able to win so many recruiting battles. A lot of them say Jason Taylor has done everything I want to do during his career. I want to go get coached by him. And I think Pernell Mcphee probably carries that same kind of respect, right? You look at guys who are thinking about coming to this Michigan program. They want to win national championships. They want to go to the NFL. What better coach to go play for than a guy that's won Super Bowls at the NFL level, but has also been a standout at the NFL as a player as well. The recruiting's certainly going to go in the right direction, but you said it best. This is a guy that is going to command a lot of respect on the practice field as well, right? Pernell Mcphee, over 38 sacks, 58 tackles for loss during his NFL career.
Also just grinding out a long 10-year career. I mean, like even towards the end where you don't have that pure athleticism and just ability to dominate. I mean, just getting it done, being able to be very dependable and kind of exactly the things you kind of want to be able to coach in your players. I think he showed that you don't play that long, period, no matter what, if you're not like a guy that can be really trusted and relied upon. So I think his NFL career, I think, signifies a guy who you think can step in and be a really, really good coach, because he could both excel from a talent standpoint, but also the fact that he could play into his early mid-30s kind of proves that he's got that ability to know what he's doing on the field, be able to be mistake-free, and a lot of those things you want to be able to impart in your players.
Nobody knows how reliable Pernell Mcphee was as a player than his defense coordinator, Wink Martindale, right? And so why is Wink Martindale? I think that's always something you can draw upon. When we talk about evaluating these coaching hires, having familiarity with some of these coaching hires gives you a little bit more confidence that it's going to work out, right? Wink Martindale wouldn't go out and pursue Pernell Mcphee as a defensive assistant, if he doesn't know him extremely well, know him as a player, know him as a person, and knows what he's going to bring into this Michigan defense. And Dill, I think the last thing I want to touch on that excites me the most is the emphasis that Sherrone Moore seemingly is putting on establishing a winning culture, right? You just won a national championship. You were back-to-back Big Ten champions. You want to continue that winning standard and culture within this program. And I think it started with going out and getting a guy like Wink Martindale, who's not only won a Super Bowl at the NFL level, but it's also won a national championship at the college football level as well at Western Kentucky. Proven winner, right? Kirk Campbell, a guy that was with this Michigan staff when they won a national championship. You go out and get a guy like Pernell Mcphee, who not only, you said it best, was part of one of the most dominant defenses that we've seen in the history of football, both at the NFL and college level, but a guy that has gotten it done at the highest level, has won Super Bowls. That winning culture, that standard is seemingly something that Sherrone Moore has put a very strong emphasis on when he's thinking about cultivating the staff.
No, 100%. And again, you just kind of look at it as a whole now. I mean, I think he's rounded out a really nice staff where he does combine experience, but also guys who are younger, hungrier, want to probably really hit it on the trail and probably relate to players a little bit better. Obviously, like, there is that generational divide. Not to say like older coaches don't recruit as well, but I do think you kind of see like those Fran Brown type recruiters, even Kirby Smart. I mean, a younger head coach in the scheme of things, like, they really do get out there. They do relate really, really well. But you also have guys like you can look towards like Wink Martindale. Like, okay, this guy's just done it forever. You really can believe in what he teaches and getting guys to like that next level and getting better and doing all those things that ultimately are what matter to players. But again, you still need guys that they can relate to and trust on your staff too.
The overall balance of this Michigan staff is extremely impressive. And again, probably something that Sherrone Moore has put a lot of thought into when he's going out and making these hires. You have guys like Wink Martindale who are coming from the NFL. We obviously love our defense coordinators coming from the NFL level, but guys, he's a guy that's been in the game for 25 plus years at both the college and NFL level. Then you go out and get a guy like Brian Jean-Marie to come coach the linebackers. That is a seasoned college football guy, right? The concerns you have with Wink Martindale not being in touch with the college football landscape get mitigated by someone like Brian Jean-Marie, who has made a living at the college football level. Now, you have a lot of veteran coaches, and you sprinkle in guys like Pernell Mcphee, who are younger, probably a little bit more energy, probably bring a little bit more of that kind of modern flair to this coaching staff.
And even like a Grant Newsome that applies to, certainly a guy who feels like he was just, I mean, he was playing when I was in college, which wasn't that long ago. So, I mean, again, you just kind of look, there's a young guys, older guys. I think this coaching staff, again, it is shaping up to be a really good staff. I know a lot of people probably are down on what Sherrone Moore could do. Oh, Harbaugh's taking everybody. I mean, this looks to me like a really good staff. I think it's really well put together. Again, I think one of the big things or telling things will be is if they can recruit it, maybe step that up. That will be the one thing, because you knew Coach Harbaugh had guys who could coach. I mean, everyone with a brain knew Michigan was developing at about as high of a level as you've seen in college football. But I do think at the end of the day, you want to see, I think, a more sustainable route to success is being able to combine that really elite development with a much higher, probably a high, not much higher, but a higher level of recruiting than what was happening.
And it sounds like Sherrone Moore's not done. From the people who are on the message boards and reading through the tea leaves on Twitter, like, there are some more moves to be made with this coaching staff. We'll, of course, be breaking it down as it happens. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.